What if reconnecting with your higher self didn't require a perfect morning routine, or a spotless meditation practice, or a whole day of silence on retreat? What if it could happen in the 2 minutes before your feet hit the floor in the morning, or the 5 seconds it takes to walk through a doorway, or the length of one conscious breath? Here's what I've learned through my own healing journey and through working with women who are doing the same deep work. The most powerful spiritual practices aren't always the elaborate ones. They're the tiny, consistent moments of coming back to yourself throughout an ordinary day. Because your inner divine isn't waiting for you in some perfect future moment when your life is calm enough to meditate for an hour. She's here, right now, in your body, in your breath, in the space between one moment and the next. You just need simple ways to remember her. If you listened to last week's episode on ancestral healing, you know that we're doing deep work right now, clearing what we've inherited, breaking cycles, shifting what lives in our lineage. And today's episode is the perfect companion to that work. Because once you've started clearing, you need practices that help you stay connected to you, the real you, not the you shaped by inherited wounds or old patterns. Today, I'm giving you a collection of micro rituals, most of them 2 minutes or less, that you can weave into your existing day without adding overwhelm. No extra time required, no special equipment, no perfect circumstances. Just you coming home to yourself, one small, sacred moment at a time. Welcome to Jyotindi, Journey to the Inner Divine, a sacred space for healing energy, emotional release, and soulful transformation. If you're ready to live with joy, ease, and purpose, you're in the right place. Welcome back. We're going to start today off by talking about why rituals work and what makes something a ritual versus just a habit. A habit is something that you do automatically. A ritual is something that you do intentionally. The difference isn't necessarily in the action, it's in the consciousness that you bring to it. Making your morning coffee can be a mindless habit or a sacred ritual, depending on whether you are present with it. And that presence, that intentionality, that's where the magic lives. See, rituals are so powerful for healing because they create anchors. Your nervous system loves predictability, and rituals signals safety. This is familiar. This is grounding. I know what comes next. For people with trauma histories, this is incredibly regulating for their nervous systems. Another thing that they do is they interrupt your autopilot. Most of us spend our days in like a trance. We're reacting and rushing and performing. Rituals can create a pattern interrupt, a moment of saying, wait, I'm here. I'm conscious. I'm choosing this. They also strengthen your connection to something greater than you. And whether you call that God or the universe or your higher self or your inner divine, rituals create a channel. And each time you perform one intentionally, you're saying, I'm open, I'm listening, I'm here. Another thing rituals do that is really amazing is they rewire your nervous system. Consistent small practices actually change your neural pathways over time. You're literally building new grooves in your brain, grooves of safety and presence and spiritual connection. Research has shown us that even brief mindfulness practices, some can be as short as 60 seconds, activate your parasympathetic nervous system. They reduce your cortisol and increase feelings of well-being. You don't need an hour. You need intention and consistency. And here's the spiritual truth. Every spiritual tradition in the world uses ritual, from lighting incense to saying grace before meals to smudging a space. These practices exist across all cultures because humans instinctively know that the way you do something matters just as much as what you do. Every ritual is an energetic declaration, and you're telling the universe that you're showing up, you're paying attention, and that you are ready to receive. And the universe always responds to that frequency. So now we're going to dive into the rituals, and I have 9 of them for you. So you might want to take notes today. Before you check your phone, before you get out of bed, before the day rushes in, you're going to take a moment and pause. The moment that you wake up, I want you to place one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly. Take one slow, deep breath in through your nose, and then as you exhale, let your body soften into the bed. And then you'll pause and ask yourself 3 simple questions. How am I feeling right now? And just notice what comes up and try not to judge it. Next is, what do I need today? And finally, how do I want to show up? And you don't need to answer these questions out loud or journal on them. Just let the questions land in your body and notice what arises. Take one more deep breath, and then you can say silently or aloud, I welcome this day. I am present. I am guided. And this works because you're catching yourself before the outside world floods in. You're checking in with your inner world first, with your body, your needs, your intentions, before anyone else's needs or notifications or demands get your attention. And this practice is especially powerful if you're doing ancestral healing work, because you're starting the day as you, not as the inherited version of you or the anxious pattern, and not as the wounded child. Just you, grounded in your own body, setting your own intentions. Ritual 2, you can do this in conjunction with the first one or instead of. This is totally up to you. This one is the morning intention breath. And here's how you do it. You take one deep breath while thinking or saying, today I choose. And then you fill in the blank with one word or phrase. Maybe you choose clarity or peace, courage, joy, love, presence. Pick whichever one feels best to you, and then exhale fully and feel that quality moving through your body. Repeat this 3 times with the same intention. Now, this one works because you're priming your reticular activating system. That's something I haven't mentioned quite yet on the podcast, but it's extremely important. It's the part of your brain that filters out what you notice. When you set an intention, your brain starts looking for evidence of it throughout the day. You're literally reprogramming your awareness. Ritual 3, we call it the Oracle Pull. And this is for those of you who use Oracle decks or tarot cards. And how you do it is before or after the above practices, you will shuffle your cards while taking 3 deep breaths and asking one simple question. What does my soul need to know today? Then you'll pull out one card. And don't overthink the meaning. Just notice your first feeling or your first thought. And let that be your energetic theme for the day. This works by opening a channel to your intuition and to the universal guidance first thing in the morning, before your analytical mind takes over. And even if you're skeptical, the practice of asking a meaningful question and sitting with the answer trains you to access your inner wisdom. If you're new to Oracle or tarot cards and you want to learn more about how to use them as a healing or guidance tool, I actually have something really special coming up. It's called the Oracle Within, a free 5-day event where I walk you through practices just like this one and so much more. So if that calls to you, there's a waitlist link in the show notes. And ritual 4, this is called the doorway practice. This is one of my absolute favorites because it turns something that you do a dozen times a day into a sacred act. As you approach a doorway, and this can be any doorway, just pause for one breath. And then as you cross the threshold, consciously leave behind whatever you were just carrying. Could be a stressful thought, or somebody else's energy, or a worry, or some old story that's been on your mind. As you step through, set a micro intention for the space that you're entering. You can add a silent phrase like, I leave behind what isn't mine. I step into my truth. Thresholds have been sacred in spiritual traditions for thousands of years. They represent transitions, endings, and beginnings. And by bringing consciousness to this very ordinary act, you're creating dozens of tiny moments of release and renewal throughout your day. This can be especially powerful if you're doing ancestral work because each time you cross a threshold and leave behind what isn't yours, you're practicing the energetic releasing that we talked about in last week's episode. So, ritual number 5, this is a somatic check in. This is perfect for moments when you feel off or anxious or disconnected. You're going to pause wherever you are, close your eyes if possible, and if not, you can just soften your gaze and defocus your eyes. Take one breath in and ask your body, where am I holding tension right now? Then do a quick scan from head to toe, checking in on your jaw, your shoulders, your chest, your belly, your hips. And when you find tension, breathe into that spot. On the exhale, consciously soften that area, not forcing it, but inviting it to release. And then ask that area, what are you trying to tell me? And notice whatever arises without judgment. Because your body is constantly communicating with you. It holds on to emotions and stores messages, and it signals when it's misaligned. And this practice trains you to listen before the whisper becomes a shout. Ritual number 6. This is the EFT reset tap. This is going to take you 1 to 2 minutes, and it's best when you're feeling activated or overwhelmed. It's just a simplified version of emotional freedom technique. You're going to take 2 fingers and gently tap on the side of your hand. It's what's called the karate chop point. And while you're doing that, you're going to say something like, even though I'm feeling, and then you insert the feeling that you're having, anxious, overwhelmed, disconnected, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. You'll repeat that 3 times. So it'll sound like, even though I'm feeling anxious, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Then, after that, you can tap on your collarbone point, which is right below your collarbone, while breathing in deeply. And then say, I release what isn't mine. I return to myself. I am safe. You'll take one final deep breath in and notice what's shifted. This works because tapping sends calming signals directly to your amygdala, or your brain's fear center. It interrupts the stress response in real time. It's like hitting a reset button on your nervous system. So if you feel an old familiar pattern rising up, you can use this as the perfect moment for a quick EFT reset. Ritual number 7. This is a brand new practice. It's something that I haven't mentioned on the podcast before. It's sacred witnessing in the mirror. And I wanted to introduce you to something that you might not have tried before. This one might be better to try if you have a few extra minutes, or at least have a few extra minutes the first couple times you try it. What you're going to do is you're going to find a mirror, like a bathroom mirror works perfectly. You're going to look into your own eyes. And I don't mean look at your appearance, but look into your eyes like you're looking into somebody else's eyes. You're going to take a slow breath, and then you're going to say to yourself, and do this out loud if you can, I see you. I'm here. You are enough. And if emotions start to rise up, let them. That means that the practice is working. You can also add one specific acknowledgement, something like, I see how hard you're working. I see how far you've come, and I'm proud of you. Most of us avoid really looking at ourselves. We might check on our appearance, but we don't witness ourselves. This practice activates the same neural pathways as being witnessed by someone else, except you're giving yourself this gift of being truly seen. For people healing from trauma, especially if it's relational trauma, this is profound and can be a very emotional experience. This is the kind of moment that can crack something open within you. And that's why I suggest you do it when you have a couple extra moments. When you look back into your own eyes and say things like, I see you, you're doing something that your wounds have always craved. You're offering yourself the unconditional presence that maybe you didn't have growing up. You're being your own safe witness. Now we'll move on to evening rituals, because how you end your day matters just as much as how you begin it. Evening rituals can help you process what happened or release things that you've been carrying. and consciously close that energetic loop of the day. Ritual 8. This is perfect for empaths or sensitives or anybody doing ancestral work. Here's how you do it. You're going to begin by sitting quietly and closing your eyes. Then take 3 deep breaths and visualize all the places that your energy went today. Conversations, worries, other people's problems. Maybe it was past memories, or maybe you got caught up in future fears. Imagine all of that energy as golden light beginning to return to you. Watch it flow back into your body from every direction and say, I call my energy back. I return what isn't mine. I am whole and complete. Then take one final breath and feel yourself refilled. Throughout the day, especially if you're empathic or doing deep healing work, your energy can get scattered. This practice consciously retrieves your energy so that you don't carry the day into your sleep. Imagine going to bed not carrying everyone else's emotions, not replaying the day, just you, whole, complete, and in your own energy. Ritual 9 is the gratitude anchor. This is not your typical gratitude practice. Instead of listing out all the things that you're grateful for, which I think can feel kind of performative, find one moment from today that felt even slightly good or safe, a glimmer, however small. I want you to hold that moment in your mind. Place your hand on your heart and let yourself actually feel it for 10 or 15 seconds. Say, this is real. Good things exist in my life, and I am healing. When you do this, you're training your nervous system to register positive experiences instead of just scanning for threats like it usually does. Research has shown that consciously savoring positive moments for 10 seconds actually helps them wire into long-term memory, and it gradually starts shifting your baseline energy levels. Now, you don't have to do all of these. In fact, I'd encourage you not to try to do that. Just pick maybe 2 or maybe even 3 that resonate and start there. Choose by leaning into the ones that made you feel something, or ones that feel doable given your actual life situation, or ones that address something that you need really badly right now. So, like a simple framework that you can use. Choose one morning ritual that we spoke about and start your day consciously. Then, throughout the day, you can choose one of the micro rituals to stay connected, like the doorway practice or a somatic check in. And then in the evening, to close your day, choose one of the evening rituals that we mentioned, maybe the energy return or your gratitude anchor. You're going to try those chosen practices for 7 days. And like I said, don't try to do them all. Just pick the ones that made your ears perk up when you heard them. And also, don't try to do them perfectly. Just be consistent and notice what shifts. Notice where you feel more like yourself, or where you feel like your ancestral patterns have maybe less of a grip on you. And keep in mind, you're not trying to have a spiritual experience every time you do these practices. You're just building a relationship with yourself. And like any relationship, it deepens through showing up, not through grand gestures. These aren't just feel-good practices. Every time you show up for yourself in these small ways, you're taking aligned action toward the life that your soul is calling you toward. You're proving to yourself and to the universe that you are serious about this healing. When we started this episode, we talked about reconnecting with your inner divine, that part of you that exists beneath inherited wounds, beneath old patterns, and beneath the noise of daily life. And what I want you to understand is this: that part of you has never been gone. She's just waiting for you to create enough space to remember her. And these rituals, they're not about adding more to your to-do list. They're about bringing more of you into your life, more presence, more awareness, more trust in your inner knowing. And as you continue your healing work, clearing out what you've inherited, breaking cycles, reclaiming your energy, these practices become your daily anchors, the thread that keeps you connected to yourself as you do the deeper work. You don't have to have everything all figured out, and you don't have to be spiritual enough or healed enough to start. You just have to be willing to show up for yourself in tiny, consistent ways. That's it. That's the whole practice. If you're feeling called to go deeper, but you're not really sure where to start, or maybe you're not sure about what's actually blocking you, I want to offer you my free clarity map. It's a journaling guide, and it's going to help you get honest about where you are, where you want to go, and exactly what's standing in between. It's the perfect companion to these daily rituals because it gives you the self awareness to know which practices you need the most. You can download it for free at mariahaurora.com/freebie/clarity, or you can also get it in the show notes. And if today's episode sparked something in you, if you felt called to take this even deeper into practices like oracle card reading, meditation, scrying, or sound healing, I want to tell you about something I'm creating called the Oracle Within. It's a free 5-day event where I walk you through practices for reconnecting with your intuition and receiving messages from the universe. We cover everything from grounding and meditation to tarot cards and sound healing. And we wrap up with a live integration call where I offer you personal support. It's completely free, it's deeply transformational, and it's designed specifically for women who are ready to go from awareness into actual connection with their inner divine. So if that calls to you, you can sign up for the waitlist now and be the first to know when doors open. The link is in the show notes. And I want to leave you with one final affirmation. This is something that you can say to yourself whenever you need. I am connected to my inner divine. I show up for myself in small, sacred ways every day. I am healing. I am remembering. I am home. Thank you so much for being with me today. Until next time, remember, there is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path.